So let's go make that lovely cabbage salad according to Graciella's grandma recipe that I shared with you in the shorts and also Instagram, Facebook. So I just preparing a bit of my dressing. This is 80 milliliters of lemon juice, and all my ingredients are organic because I choose them to be. With lemons, for example, if you're using conventional lemons, especially the rind, conventional lemons are typically, because they're quite prone to pests and bugs and things like that, they are traditionally being sprayed quite heavily and also waxed to protect. And then also in the months where the nights are not so cool, then the lemons remain green for a longer time. But of course, we know a lemon to be yellow, and therefore oftentimes lemon will be gassed. So I choose organic lemons or Amalfi lemons from Amalfi Coast in Italy that has its own certification, also grown in an organic, untreated manner. And if you're ever in Amalfi, you should go and do that tour of the terraces where the lemons are grown, because it is quite a chore. It is really, really fascinating. So I can only highly recommend it. Now I have used 80 milliliters of lemon juice, and now I am just squeezing my orange. I also need the rind of the orange. So I'll need 100 milliliters of orange juice, and I have here one blood orange and one orange. And blood oranges come into season only in the winter time in the northern hemisphere, between about now January and March, and they just have a different, slightly different flavor, and they're just also looking very blushed. There you go, blood red. And there we go. That's our orange juice. So that's 100. I wish I were left-handed. Let's try. Then you can see better. So we have our 100 milliliters of orange juice. Yep. Now, then we need a dessert spoon of olive oil. That'll be just about that. And a little bit of salt. I'm using the pink Himalayan salt, but I wouldn't use regular table salt, but any other form of pink salt. I wouldn't also use black salt because that really tastes of eggs. It's great for vegans, so if they fancy that egg flavor. I'm gonna add a little bit of pepper. 2 second spoons would be very convenient to have. So I add a small bit of pepper, and as I mentioned in my previous video, I choose, when I use cabbage, to use a little bit of cumin, but I think I'm actually going to put it over the cabbage rather than in the dressing. But the part I really love in this recipe is the spoon of apricot jam. Now, I love, again, apricot. Organic, boring, I know, but that is it. So I have 1 dessert spoon, so I've used a teaspoon. I'm using a teaspoon and a half of this apricot jam. And now I'm going to just mix it around, and I'm going to give it a good stir. And we'll leave it be for a moment. Oh, amazing. Really amazing. Love it already. Probably a little bit more salt, but that's individual flavor, of course. Now I have chopped, or I should say I have sliced thinly this red cabbage, which I'm now going to put in here. Now, if I was making it not into this crispy salad, I would probably stomp it a bit. That releases more flavor. And sometimes I scald it, takes down the bitterness, just throwing hot water over it and rinsing it off. Takes down the bitterness a bit if I want to eat it as a kind of a side dish, maybe fairly raw. I'm going to do the second, the half of the second cabbage. So I cut it in half, and I'm going to take out that piece down here, that triangle. That's really hard. You know, I forget sometimes that some people may have never used these ingredients. You know, you got to start somewhere, and we sometimes forget. So I'm just going to slice them thinly, slice the white cabbage very thinly as well. And of course, white cabbage is used to make sauerkraut, and that's when it's definitely being stamped upon and stomped, because it softens it, it brings out the juices, and it gives better result, and again takes down bitterness. Better result if you're fermenting cabbage to make sauerkraut. But today we're making this wonderful grandma recipe of crunchy cabbage salad, and this is a huge portion, of course, so that'll last me several days. And I'm delighted with that, because I don't know about you, but often the salads taste even better a couple of days later when they've been sitting in the juice in the dressing for a bit. So here we go. So that's our cabbage. Now we need our carrot. We'll just peel that off. And carrots, definitely organic, because it's one of the most laden foods with pesticides, because again, carrots are loved by so many insects, particularly slugs. And it is certainly a good idea, or the carrot fly. So it's definitely a good idea to get your organic carrots in that case. Again, not prepared, but here we go, not fully prepared. Coarsely grated. So I grate that right into my salad here. Don't mind what the kitchen looks like, but we'll clean up afterwards. Now that's our carrot. Take care not to take the skin off your hands as well. Once you come to the bottom, I'm very kind of old style, you know, when you've been doing it for a few decades, you just work away, don't you? And not too worried about many things. So this is our carrot grated, lovely. Now we have an apple that's already washed. I keep the skin on. I'll just quarter it, take out the little core, chop, chop, chop. Now, if you're more fine art lover, then you mightn't do as rustic as I do. I just do it very much, you know, hands-on, not too worried about exact size, and of course I wash my apple. But again, I'm just very much use a chopping board. If you do this for the first time, don't do what I do. Don't take your fingers off. So we need the rind of our orange. So therefore, definitely we don't want any pesticides on them. But that is your choice. So I'll show you in a second, but I'll slice them very thinly. I'll slice the peel, is the word I'm looking for, very thinly. So there's my thin slices. I wish you could smell them. And I'll just drape them over. I also use the other one from the blood orange. I'm sure that'll give us a different flavor as well. So yum. I was longing to make this recipe for a long time, but I had to wait. Well, I chose to wait for my in my health store, my first delivery of organic fruit and veg to come in, including blood oranges, first of the season. So there's my, oops, that's on the floor. That is not my blood orange. We're going to leave that down there for now, and we'll take the other half. There is two halves, thankfully. Yeah, no, cats won't go near it. They don't like citrus fruit, or any fruit for that matter, or vegetables. Mind you, one of mine eats cucumber and broccoli. Here we go, blood orange draped in. Now we have our cucumber, just sliced and diced. Actually, I was going to leave it out because I did overeat cucumber a couple of years ago, and I've really just not been wanting to eat any. But look, It's part of it, and it of course gives it that freshness because of its water content. Cucumber, so healthy. So here we go with the skin on. In we go. And now, we have our walnuts to go. So I'm using the ones in the shell, but if you have, if you buy them in the packet, that's okay too. I should have also prepared that. So we need about 80 grams. I'm just going to pop in a few so I won't be holding you for so long watching me. But you know the shape of walnuts, they remind us of our brain. So therefore, walnuts so rich in essential fatty acids in the omegas. And when they look like a brain, sure, they can only be good for our brains. Let me see now. I'll crack one more and then we'll do the pomegranate. Pomegranates are also winter fruit, particularly Turkey, Greece, Egypt, you know, Middle East. That's where oranges and pomegranates form the winter fruit, the winter offering of fruit. And they are, of course, so rich in vitamin C that they're the perfect fruit for wintertime. And anecdotally, who loved pomegranate, the fruit of 1,000 seeds, Cleopatra or Aphrodite, I forget, maybe both, probably Aphrodite. Wasn't she the goddess of fertility? And it is considered to be a fruit for fertility. So pomegranate, now I'm going to cut it right down the middle here. So with the attachments either side. And this is what it looks like in the middle. You can see these thousands of, lots of seeds, and they're all full of juice. So there'll be a lot of splattering about. But what I do now is I'm going to just open that up a small bit like that. And then I'm going to take my spoon and just hit the back of it, and they pop out then. So you can see they're already falling out. So you just open them up a bit like that, and then take or even the walnut cracker or a wooden spoon. And I don't know if you can see this, but if you just knock here, then they just pop out. So you don't have to make your life too difficult. And if you hold it a bit closer to the bowl, you don't have your whole kitchen full of them. So there you go. Yeah, and I peel it back the skin a small bit, and they pop out really, really easily. So half a pomegranate is fabulous. Now off they come, all the seeds, and they are really bursting with juice. It's absolutely wonderful. Very, very rich in vitamin C. And there we go. That's our pomegranate gone in. And there we are. And you can, of course, adjust this to your liking. I'm gonna just give my dressing, spoon in it, another stir. It's really nice. Now it's quite tart, but I do like it sour, so I won't even add any more salt. It's plenty salty. And the apricot jam does not make it overly sweet. It just gives it that it takes down the lemon and the orange a small bit. So I'm going to pour it on. And I will decide later whether to add the cumin or not. But just look at that. So I hope you enjoyed this and the little bit of random information about some of the foods. I'm going to give this a good stir, I'm going to leave it sit for a while, and I'm going to have it for my dinner, my lunch tomorrow, my dinner tomorrow, I'd say, because there's plenty. Or you can, of course, share it with friends. So on that note, thanks for tuning in. See you, talk to you. Give us a like if you like it, share it with your friends, and let me know how you did it, how you did. All right. Bye for now.